we have 2 days left in the month, right? 2 freaking days. So I want to ask you, how are you bringing the energy of it being the last 2 days of the month? What are you doing with your team? How are you creating excitement? What are you saying to them? What's going on? Go, Christy Silva.
I actually did a voice message yesterday to all my key players and reminded them what they needed to do to hit by the end of the month, and just telling them that I believed in them. And I got a really, really great response. Like, they all were just like, thank you for that push and stuff like that. So just a tiny little, 15-second message. That's it.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Okay. What else?
Same. Trying to do individual encouragement, really.
Okay. I love it. So individual encouragement, telling them that they can do it, reminding them that this will, and I think this is the thing. Even if they push hard towards their goal, they've hit their goal, right? And I know a majority are like, well, they haven't hit their goal. That's okay. The conversations that they're going to have right now is going to set them up for March. So it's just that encouragement of like, hey, the work you put into right this very minute is going to also take care of the 1st of March. So I love that. Wet Web, you are so dark. I can just see like you are like, whoop.
I know my light is dead. I need a new bulb. And it's like gross here, like muggy and weird. And
hey, no worries. What are you doing?
I'm doing little success pods. They work really good together, like in little groups. So I've kind of done it based on kind of just personality. Because I've got such an eclectic bunch right now that are pushing. So I put them together, and they each have little names. And then my Teen Cup one has a pod too. And we're just sharing templates. I do most of it in voice messages. They do really well with that. And I've done the one-on-one like Christy's doing. I'm doing a lot of just tons of hand-holding right now. And sometimes it feels really tedious, but I think it is really helping and giving them the encouragement and confidence that they need right now.
For sure. Especially with Team Cup. It's like, put that added emphasis on finishing the month strong, encouraging your leaders, encouraging them to help their leaders and their teams to finish strong. Like, I know it's been a really great month for many, and it's been a very month for some. Okay. And I would just say, you know what, it is whatever you're going to make it. And even if it's not the best month, like I would just ask you, what are the conversations that you're having? Who are the people that you're talking to? Who are you helping? Like literally go back to that. Cause I promise you, regardless if it's been kind of a downer month, not downer, but just different than January, let's say, I would say, what have you done to make it great? Because it's going to be your action. And anytime that you are feeling stuck, it just takes action to get out of it. And you have these 2 days to really put the heightened awareness and the heightened emphasis on it. Cool? Okay, anything else? Anybody else want to contribute? Britt Powers, how about you, girl?
I knew it. I just went live yesterday. I try to go live, probably 2 to 3 times a week at my team page on top of our team call. And I actually went to the SE 135 group. I'm in so many groups, but I went in there and I, took apart things that Carl was saying and just reminded them to really get outside their comfort zone, especially with the IG stories, and say, hey, you might feel dumb doing this, but X, Y, and Z. I shared with them that, I'm going to try showing my actual workouts on my stories versus just on my page, and how threading the needle. And sometimes, you're not going to get any hits or anything back, but you have to keep trying and realize that some people are busy some days and the weekends are different than the weekdays and stuff like that. So I just kind of, shared what he had shared, but my own takeaways from that, and just try to give them different ways to think outside the box and just not post about it, but personally invite on their stories. And I'm really pushing that right now because I feel like Instagram has always kind of been my thing, but just sharing those tips with them and letting them know it's not over till it's over. I actually took what was shared, not last week, was it the week before, about the small wins. And yeah, my team's loving that. So I totally forgot who it was. I had your name written down. I don't know if she's on right now, but that was awesome. My team's loving that with the GIFs or the GIFs, however you say it. So they're really loving that. And they're actually sharing their own personal wins too, not just like challengers and their coaches and stuff like that.
So I would just say, why wouldn't you share that? Like, why are you holding back that? That was awesome. And it was totally different than everybody else, what I've been hearing all morning long. So please, Britt, I'm going to continue to call you out till you just start sharing. That was awesome. Thank you. And in the midst of this, I get cat things from Darwin, from Jeff Matthewson. So if you ever feel like you're missing out, sends me cat. Oh my gosh. Okay. Anyways, so okay, let's go into our topic today. And I love this. Brooke Orchard, where you move now on me. I love it because she always is like, hey, Britt, can we talk about this? I'm like, heck yeah, we can. So this was an awesome one that she's like, hey, can we talk about this in our group? And I think it is really, really good when we're talking about diamonds, how to get your diamonds to become, or how to get your coaches to become diamond faster, right? So I just want to kind of open it up and ask you, I mean, obviously many of you, I hope you saw Z's training that I put, and I just kind of shared that. So I didn't even ask for permission. So I'm asking for forgiveness now, Z, but it was that incredible. So I hope you had an opportunity to watch that. Brooke's nodding her head.
You're live with my team. I went live about it. It was so good.
Good. So if you haven't had a chance to watch it, it's obviously in our message thread, but I would just want to kind of open it up. Let me just start with Z. And I say that because obviously, you know, you went from diamond to 5-star diamond last year, but what are you doing to create diamonds faster? That's the topic.
Yeah, I feel like I came to this call with hopes of actually learning a lot more, because what I'm doing, I don't know if I see it duplicatable at a much bigger level. Like I do a lot of one-on-one with my, with the people who I think, you know, have earned it. Like they're showing up, they do their part. And so I have a standing one-on-one call with those coaches, and like it's very effective, but I also get a little worried that, you know, as the team gets bigger, you know, how long can I do that for? And then I also want to make sure that they can duplicate the process too. The good thing is, like, I have seen some of my leaders now doing one-on-one calls with their people. And really with those one-on-ones, like, you have to earn them. You know, if you're only showing up to my call, but you don't show up to team calls, you're not hitting Success Club, you're not trying, you know, that's going to go away. So I do a lot of the one-on-one with the people who earn it. I'm in the process, like those of you guys who saw my 30-day coach onboarding, of like, I'm up to, I think, week 2 now of creating a 60-day diamond, like where it's semi-self-paced, but there's a Facebook group to go with it. Because I feel like I do need something a little bit more, I can give you this to follow, you know, and take these steps rather than just my one-on-one. Yeah.
Awesome. No, thank you. But I love the fact that you're starting to realize you don't know if you can do it on a larger scale. But I love the fact that it's duplicated down to your coaches that are lower rank. And yes, I think it's that finding that system that is going to work as you continue to move and progress. But I love that you brought that up. So yes, I will make sure that you get enough context and nuggets from all these ladies too. So thank you for being honest about that. Who wants to kind of open it up and just say, okay, I'm just throwing it out there. Jalen. And you're like, it is. Okay, so our little Jalen here is 6-star diamond. She just went 10-star diamond qual. So, okay. So I'm going to ask, I know, everybody's like, wait, what? Like, literally, we were messaging the other night, and I'm like, you did it. You freaking did it. And then I checked it the next morning, and I was like, oh my gosh, she did it. So needless to say, like, what the hell did you do?
So, well, okay, 3 of those diamonds who popped of the 4 were fallen diamonds. So, it was getting them back, and they were fallen diamonds for like over a year, but they like were some of my original people. So like I knew they understood and had a vision, but they kind of lost their vision. So after Ruth Schroner's thing at leadership, so life was a little crazy for us at the time. And so when she was like talking about how they only have 1 team page and 1 downline and all of that, I got to thinking, like, we mainly have that, but we use message threads a lot. And I was thinking about how like we had like a team push thread is what we called it for anybody who was actively trying to push the business. They were already emerald. So we had somewhere to put all of them. And then I thought, yeah, we all have our own individual new coach threads. And it was like, that is where you spend a shiz ton of time because they ask the same 8,000 questions. And so we actually decided to combine everything team wide. So we have a new coach thread and we have an emerald and above thread that's called the push thread. My kids are being loud. Sorry. Hopefully you can hear me. So, hey, you guys. So we combined threads, and I think that started a lot of the momentum because it was team wide. All of the leaders could help each other, so we aren't having to answer the same question over and over again. All of the new coaches are learning from each other. We also post gifts and the push thread for emerald and above, even the new coach thread. whenever they get a challenger or a coach. So we can see the momentum of everybody doing stuff. We also did a vision call, and I think this was huge, like a vision and goals call. We knew we were super close to 10 star and had been for like 5 months. And so my leaders and I, who were already diamond above, were like, what can we do to encourage them? Because retreats last year weren't working. So we decided, well, let's try the retreat thing again, but we need to see if their goals align with it first. And so we didn't say anything to them. We got on the call, and they all had a diamond goal date by the 22nd. And so then we were like, sweet, we have a sweet retreat planned, but it's all dependent on you guys hitting your goals. And so it was always about their goals being hit. And I put all of these girls who are my PS coaches that were pushing for diamond by the 22nd, put them into one pod, and all but one hit. So we still hit 10 star. But that alone was huge because it no longer became about my goals. It was their goals. And it wasn't weird for me to check up on them because it was their goal and their deadline. So we were able to check in. My leaders were able to like encourage them, and we just like, hey, what's your action plan for today? We kind of stripped training in December. Micah's whole downline did back to the basics. We have a 2-week new coach training. They have access to other stuff, but we don't give them access until like they're diamond or above, because they were getting so distracted by all these extra awesome trainings that they weren't doing the basics. And to get to diamond, you really just need to do the basics. And so we really focused just on that. So the new coach thread, the push thread, and we want to get them to the push thread. And they know that there's a push thread, and we graduate them out of the new coach thread and put them into the push thread when they become emerald. So the whole team has come closer together because we all know each other now. And it's not like we have separate teams. We're all one big team, and we can all help and motivate and encourage each other. And the momentum of the entire team is shifted. And I have a coach about to go 4-star this week. So it just like the whole thing has shifted. Yeah. And so I think a lot of it was vision, making it align with their goals so that you can call them out on it. So it's not you being frustrated that your rank isn't improving. It's their goals. And once we got to 10 star, the action plan now is solid by Sunday. So every Thursday morning they check, and they have till Sunday to replace whatever is projected inactive or add 2 coaches. It's a minimum of 2 coaches, or replace whatever's needed by Sunday, so that we're being proactive, not defensive of our diamonds. The goal is not for them to stay diamond. They know that. They all want to walk the stage at Summit, so they're all pushing for 1 star at least. So they're going to start building their hubby and stuff. So we just kind of like guide them in a way through the message threads. We don't use our team pages a ton. It's all just message threads. I have a graphic that says stop your scroll, important info. So when they check the threads a couple times a day, they can do a quick scroll. They don't have to read every comment that was ever made. They look for that graphic. If they see the graphic, then they know they need to read the post around there. And we do have like 1 structured post a day that us leaders are doing that is giving them like insight into what we are doing. Because we tell them to invite and do their connects and expand their market and do their posts. But what does that mean? Like, how do we do that? So a leader is taking a day and just saying, okay, today we're focusing on this for our marketing calendar. So this is how I'm going to do it. This is how I'm going to do some invites. Here's some script examples I'm using. Or like yesterday I did one on photos, because new coaches suck at photos. So we talked about lighting and scroll stopping pics and challenged them to post a selfie today or tomorrow or yesterday or today. So like we just give them like nuggets and insight into what we're doing as leaders. And honestly, that's all we did. Nothing crazy, just realigned with their vision and all put into 1 thread.
Holy energy though, like the excitement of it and implementing it. So I'm just going to take a moment. And do you have any questions for Jalen? That's big. Anybody? No?
I do. So like your vision call that you set up, was that a team call, or did you do a special call with your PS coaches, or was it a live call?
It was a Zoom call, and it took freaking forever. We did 2 different ones, morning and night, so that they could jump on either. And we were on them for 3 hours each call. It took freaking forever, but it was the best thing we could have done. So we got them through Summit as far as vision. So we'll do it again after Summit. But yeah, it took forever, but it was good for people to see. They set piddly, wimpy visions because they have a lot of self-doubt. And so we were able to like course correct like girlfriend. Diamond by next year is insane. So like we could like kind of course correct them, and then they by the end were like, well, I know what you're gonna say because I listened to what you said to other people. And so like it was good because it was kind of peer pressure in a positive way. Like they could see how they were being unrealistic, and then everybody knows everybody's goals too. So in the push thread, everybody knows what everybody's pushing for, and they can encourage each other.
So did you ask specific questions of each of your coaches on this call, or did you just say, hey, what are your goals?
So we had what their Success Club goal was for February, Success Club goal, February, how many coaches they wanted to add, and if there was a rank goal, so either Emerald or Diamond by this month, and then by summit. Oh, and also income goal for this month, and where they wanted to be rank-wise and income-wise by summit. And then vision for life. That was a big part of it, not just goals, but like if money wasn't an issue, if time wasn't an issue, and you worked this business like freaking crazy, what would your life look like? And that's where it really set people on fire. I think you're muted, Britt. You're talking. We can't hear you.
Kiana, did you have a question for Jalen? Because you unmuted yourself.
Oh, I was just gonna say, do you ever find that you don't find the thread to be overwhelming, or like it gets dead, or are they just always constantly talking because you have it kind of the momentum going?
Well, because it's the entire downline, it's huge. So
right, so like 80 people, let's say, I'm just randomly throwing out a number. Do you feel like they're all like, I know all of them don't post, but is it just like what I get the people that post like 3 words, then 3 words, then another sentence, then 5 sentences, and I'm like, just stop, just post like a, you know what I mean? And I'm like, seriously, girl, can you get your thoughts together?
Yeah, no, we don't. And like I said, we do that graphic for that reason, because I know a lot of people can get like, they have to read everything, and I'm like, don't do that. You don't need to read everything. These threads get crazy. Just look for this graphic, scroll a couple times a day. If you don't see it, move on. You don't have to read everything, and we really emphasize that. Like, this is like for you to come use as needed, but do not overwhelm yourself with it, because seriously, there's a lot of fluff sometimes, but we do try and keep it business oriented so that people aren't just chit-chatting about private stuff that just can take over the thread. So it is very business oriented in that sense, still the community stuff. But
yeah. Do you like for the new coaches, are they in there a certain amount of time? Like how long do you consider a new coach? Do you know what I mean? Because I know like you said, once they are in the Emerald group and then they reach Diamond, they get out of the Emerald group and then they go to the Diamond. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Don't worry, guys, I'm in my driveway, so I'm looking at you guys because I'm in my driveway.
You're good.
Note to everyone. But is it some, because that's where I'm finding that like some of these coaches will sit in the new coach pod, and I'm like, because I do the same. This is something that's brand new to me, so I like hearing different ideas. How are you dealing with, like, how long is a coach in a new coach pod, and how are you recycling the new coaches coming in? Is it like monthly? Are you starting like a monthly pod, or?
Yeah, so we have, they can stay in the new coach pod for 1 full month. So if they start mid-January, they can stay through February. By that time, they really should be Emerald. Like, there's no reason they shouldn't. Yeah. So what we're having our coaches do, who have coaches in the new coach thread, if their coach is not Emerald at that point, that's where they will personally check in with them and be like, hey, I know your goal was Emerald by this date. Where are you at? Because a lot of them do go MIA. And so that's our check-in time to figure out where they are. Assess, leave them in there if they're like, okay, I really need to do this. And we're actually going to get more structured with content so that for the new coach thread, so that we can actually, like I was saying with the leaders posting the one thing every day, we're going to put that in a document so that we can just regurgitate that. And they're going to get really sick of seeing the same crap over and over and over again. Right. They're either going to do something or they're going to quit. So
that's what I'm noticing. Like, I think we overthink things as coaches. Like, we go, oh my God, like, it's new content. I need content all the time in the challenge group, or I need new content in, this pod. But I think that's exactly what I was thinking the other day, was like, they need to see this, obviously. But I like that idea. And then the last question is it a question for a new coach to get into those pods? Like, you ask them, or is it part of your onboarding system?
Nope, that's part of the onboarding system. We add them to the new coach thread, the team page, and then we have that 2-week, oh my gosh, it is chaos, 2-week training. And we do that in the My Challenge Tracker app. So we let them know beforehand, hey, it starts every Monday. We do the 2-week thing every Monday. We start a new one. And so we say, we're going to add you to the the new coach thread, the team page, and on Sunday night, I will post about the new coach training that will get you in. That's 2 weeks long. That's it. That's the
New
onboarding.
training is in the My Challenge Tracker app.
Mhm.
Is that what you said? Yeah,
Mhm.
that's awesome. Okay, that makes sense. So,
And it's super duplicatable because it's simple. That's it. And that we found with new coaches trying to mentor new coaches, they had no idea what they were doing. So this puts them in an environment where leaders can actually help mentor their new coaches. And then they start to see as they progress, oh my gosh, that's how you handle this. So instead of them having so much pressure and not moving their coaches off the ground, it puts them in an environment where we can help them do that.
and right now you're saying you're coming up with a document where you can kind of repeat the information like next month, so the leaders can just like cut and copy and kind of put their spin on it.
Yeah, that's what we want to do, is so that one post a day that we do will be the same on the first, second, third, fourth, whatever of the whole month. So it's that content's the same, but of course they'll have the same 8,000 questions that they always have.
But the new coach thread is is that different? Sorry, I'm asking all these questions. Is that different than the training? Because new coach training
so
for 2 weeks, is it different content or is it kind of repetitive?
all it is a question thread basically. So we'll have that one leader post where they say, this is what I'm focusing on today. And everything else is up to the new coaches. Hey, how do I sign up a challenger? And that's the other thing. When I post a text that says how to sign up coaches and challengers, how to set your preferred placement, I tell them, save this to your phone in the notes so that next time someone else posts, you can post for us. So it helps them start to become a leader too. So it just is very question oriented. So we're just helping them through all the new coach questions.
Okay. Thank you. Sorry, I asked you a lot of questions there.
That was good. Thank you. Thank you, ladies. Is there anything else for Jaylyn? And thanks for letting me just throw you on the spot, Jaylyn. Like, that was totally just on the spot. Any other questions for her?
I have a question. This is amazing content. I love it. But why are you doing the message thread like putting all of that content in a message thread rather than on your team page?
So if there are certain things that need to be known, just because I found that the team pages are ignored. Message threads, they're more interactive with message threads. And I feel like, we used team pages for years and didn't have success. So the message threads, I feel like people who want to be in there are the ones who are going to listen to the content. So, yeah. But if it,
go through. Okay.
Yeah, so like we have a marketing calendar, all that. I share that in the coach page, but like the little daily tips are just in message threads.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
Yeah.
You rock. Thanks, ladies. Thanks for taking all those questions too, Jaylyn. So now I'm going to throw Brianne on the spot. Hey, Brianne. She's like, what the heck? So the reason I'm throwing her on the spot, so obviously this entire call today is how to get your coaches to Diamond faster, right? The reason why I'm throwing Brianne on the spot is because I had an opportunity to go live in her Diamond Code group. I'm going to have her explain a little bit, if you don't mind, Brianne. But basically how they are getting their coaches to run towards Diamonds within 5 weeks. Like I love the organization of it. Before I went live, I really, scrolled the content, got the idea, the gist of everything that was happening with it. So I understood it all, but I loved it. So Brianne, will you tell a little bit more about that Diamond Code, please?
Yeah. So we started on a Thursday. We started it on February 8th. So we are 3 weeks. We're about halfway through it. And there's 5 of us that are in there. And we basically took like all of our old sort of diamond trainings that we've all kind of done over the last few years and really sort of tried to say, what's really the meat? Like, what really do they need? And it wasn't that they needed training. It was that they needed certain action items to get done. So we sort of broke it out and we each took 5 lessons. And in that sense, there's not a ton of specific structure. Like your lesson is your day and your day to do with it what you want, whether it's graphics, whether it's a live video, whether it's posting, your own call to action, things like that. So we did have a buy-in, and so far it's going well. I mean, we have a lot of coaches that are slowly adding coaches. They're pushing towards Success Club if they hadn't done that before. But it's forcing them to at least take action on all of the things that they should be doing, so that once they're diamond, they don't kind of just get there and go like, what do I do now? Like they have all of these sort of daily to-dos and sort of things that they can sort of build on and then teach their coaches.
And can I just add on to that?
Mm-hmm.
So she's saying 5 lessons and it's between 5 leaders. So she's grouped. So Brianne's an 8-star. She grouped with Danielle and Tony and Melissa McAllister. So you have 2 15-star diamonds. Then you have a star diamond from the UK, right? And then one other coach that I'm not sure because she's not in.
Yes. So we have Diana Wright, who is a 2-star from the UK. And we have Amanda Panino, who is one of Danielle's coaches, and she is a 1 or 2-star from Canada.
So I just want to show the diversity there. So you have, very like intermediate, like newer coaches that, even that one that hasn't opened up a second CBC yet. You have Diane, who is a new, new UK coach, 2-star diamond. And then you have, obviously, your very established Brianne, Danielle, and Melissa in that. But what I loved when I was scrolling it, Brianne, was the fact that, and actually I have my notes right here, was the fact, obviously it's 5 weeks for diamond, so it's very cut and paste on like the time frame. But then also the contract that you made every single one of them sign that they were devoting to their business. And they made it very clear that this is going to take a lot of time, a lot of commitment, and a lot of hustle. Like I kept on seeing those words over and over again. But is there anything else that you want to add on to that?
I don't think so. I mean, like any group, we've got, I don't know how many people in there. You've got the same, handful that keep showing up every day, and people drop off and people show up. And I think that's sort of common in these groups. But one thing that we've all sort of made sure to do is anytime like Danielle pops in there, because she's so great at going live, she'll kind of like get a thought and just instantly pop in there and just go live about like 1 or 2 quick tips. Whether it's over the weekend or to piggyback on something. And it just has been helpful to see that we can sort of tailor it to what all the coaches seem to be sort of struggling with. So like this week and next week, we sort of have made the focus more on what those coaches have said that they are sort of struggling with as far as like whether it's recruiting or following up or getting new coaches started, things like that.
For sure. And then I just wanted to put the emphasis on obviously Brianne paired with other leaders. Like these are not her upline. This is, people that she works closely with, but it's not her upline. Jalen paired with her upline. Like I just want you to see both angles. Like if you're like, well, I have a pretty poopy upline or my upline doesn't work, whatever, saying that out of love, like then go find people to work with. Like, you know what I mean? You can have an opportunity to really come together and really, collaborate together, and more heads are obviously better than one. They, asked me to go live specifically to encourage them to work hard through the end of the month, to work towards this goal of 5 weeks. And it was really cool because I'm just emphasizing every single thing that they've already said, but it's coming from another voice. Right. And so thank you, Brianne. I know I threw you out on the spot there. Does anyone else have any questions for Brianne?
Well, you said there were 5 lessons that you guys are focusing on. What are those 5 lessons?
So we each took 5. So we have 25 topics, and I'll post them in the group so you guys can see what we did. But basically what we did was we sort of took a couple of different diamond trainings that we all had and kind of looked at them and figured out what topics are really sort of critical that we feel like they need to, really focus on. And then Danielle just put them in a spreadsheet, like there's 25 topics. So 5 days, 5 weeks. And then we had the 2 newer ones, Amanda and Diana, go in and just pick their 5. And then the rest of us went in, and picked, how we were going to do it. So there's no set, like I went yesterday and then I'm not going to go. And then I'll go again like this Friday. Like we just sort of said like these are the days we're going to do, in the sense that you teach, how you teach best, and it's up to you how you want to teach your lesson, how you want to do the call to action, and we sort of broke it out that way.
Love it. Thank you.
You rock. Okay, is there anybody else that wants to share? I mean, that was a lot of great content. Is there anything else that you guys are doing on a smaller scale? Like I know Brooke brought up this topic, but Brooke, you've always been one that has done this very well. Is there anything that you would like to share on it?
Yeah, so for me, I just Like I've said before, I just really make diamonds seem not so daunting, and I just shorten the time span to get it done in, just so people aren't dragging it on, like making diamond to go for next year. I think that's ridiculous. And so I just, sorry, my baby's gonna start crying here. So I just kind of have things go in waves, but very quickly. So getting a new coach started with a new coach checklist, a 5-day action step group to just force them outside their comfort zone. And then every month I have a 7-day push to Emerald group. And then I think it's like bi-monthly now I'm starting the Dash to Diamond for 30 days. And I'm actually looking at shortening that too, just to keep people engaged, because I notice engagement dropping in the groups. And I really like the comments about how message threads aren't ignored. I wrote that down to start implementing that with my leaders. I have a Diamond and Beyond group, so all my girls who are Diamond are in that group, because we just talk about things that maybe we wouldn't talk about in our large team page. But I'm really thinking about doing a message thread with them just to connect even more one-on-one. And I do send text messages to my people, just really focusing on friendships first, but then also asking them how I can help them. And I really love Zaina's video, just really identifying where your coaches are at. And so I went live in my team page, asking people, where are you in these phases? And to just help them identify themselves and realize that it's okay to be feeling these things as they go through those phases.
Where were the majority of them at? What phase?
A lot of my Diamonds and Beyond were obviously like phase 4. They're my lifers. A lot of people were in phase 2 and phase 3. A lot of them, I see them pulling away from personal development because they think they don't need it anymore. And that can be kind of a tricky phase. They think they know it all and they don't. So
for sure,
reminding them to keep them humble.
I love that. Anybody else want to, before I say something from the last call? Anything?
It's so interesting. My first year push to Elite, I did a 7-day sprint to Diamond. And what would happen is we would have so much momentum that would build, and people wouldn't maybe necessarily hit Diamond in 7 days, but they would add at least 4 coaches to their team. And they would have enough residual momentum that they would usually, if they kept things up at a normal pace, they would hit Diamond within, the next 2-3 weeks. And I moved away from that last year because I was worried that I was pushing people too fast. I was worried that I was making it more about my goals than about their goals. And I'm really feeling like maybe I need to just get back to that, because I think that the quality of Diamond is the same, right? Their ability to move past Diamond doesn't matter, whether they did it in 30 days or they do it in 3 months. The decision to move past Diamond is the same, right? It's a decision and a skill set and personal development. So anyway, I think I'm going to dust that little 7-day bad boy off and give it a go.
I think you should. I would say, and once they hit it, it's really the conversation, and this is actually what I went live about in that group. It's the decision afterwards, and it's just that reminder, big stepping stone within your business, but it is not where all the accolades, the big, fireworks and everything comes off. Not at all. It's literally the vision of, okay, now I can help somebody else get there with me. Now I can move, what it took me to become Diamond can help me become Star Diamond. The big vision is 2-star Diamond. And I just keep on naming those accolades, literally income increase. This is where coaches go part-time or quit their job. This is where coaches are, they can get quarterly bonuses. This is where they can open up a second CBC. I keep naming all these things, but I keep on putting this emphasis. Sorry, it's getting louder in here. So I'm talking louder. I'm excited. But this is where they have a stinking team. And that's literally, I heighten it up all to that, because I'm I want you to have a team. I want you to be able to work this business. And when you take a day off, your team is still running. Your people are still doing the business, right? And so I would just say, what is your next conversation? If they get to Diamond, it's that, yes, stop for a minute, get a margarita, get a pedicure, whatever. And then where are we going next? So I really feel it's that roadmap on, okay, now we're here, now we're going here. So I just say maybe Joy, maybe just pushing that, okay, now that we're here, now we're going to continue to work it. But I feel you should test that off.
I actually think that people get more stressed out and burnt out when their goal takes longer. So if they've been mentally trying to push for Diamond for 3 months, it's once they finally get there and it's not this big increase in income, it's they've mentally exhausted themselves. Whereas if you can shorten the time frame and get them momentum faster, it's more exciting for them. So anyway, That's my lessons learned in the rearview mirror.
You had an epiphany. That's good. It's really good. Try it and then let us know. And then, of course, it sounds like you're going to share it with us. I love that. One thing that was brought up in the 8:30 a.m. group was Whitney Small said, you know what, I've realized on team calls, because, and I'm sure you guys have all experienced this, so you always do, but with team calls, a new training, everybody's just like, oh, it's the same training, it's the same content, they're, you know, said in different ways. But she switched it to where her team calls now are team power hours. And so she's making them do the work and to create the energy. And it's incredible the feedback that she's got, because now she has more working coaches. Now she actually has more people showing up. Then, you know, on top of it, creating an event within your team page about it, so to remind them. But literally start thinking about those things, because at the end of the day, they're going to listen to the National Wake Up Call. So that's another training. Like, all these things are trainings. And so maybe your trainings are within that group, that push to diamond, that push to 2-star diamond, whatever it may be. And then your team calls are, you know, maybe it's every other week you're doing a power hour together, whatever it may be. Like, kind of think about those things. Think what is working for your team. But I just loved that so much. Because, and Melissa Brewer actually in the first group brought up, she's like, well, I love all this, but how am I going to take it back to my team? Like, now that I'm doing this, so like, what's the action behind it? So that was the one thing, obviously the live power hour, the scheduling the events within the team page. But what else do you guys got?
One thing that I really noticed my girls kind of struggling with is like the vision of why it's important to be hitting diamond and beyond, and what it means for them on a personal level, and just kind of understanding the different perks beyond that point. Where one of my girls, you know, her goal is to completely quit her full-time job, but she wasn't able to tell me like why that's important to be, you know, hitting diamond and beyond. She didn't even realize that you cap out on team cycle bonuses at Emerald, you know, per week at a certain point. And so I'm like, okay, you need to be educating yourself if this is an important goal for you. So really making sure that they are educated on what that entails and why it's important for them and what motivates them.
For sure. Love that, Brooke. Okay, I'm going to throw the T. Can I just give a shout out for this beautiful straight hair? That took a lot of work, girl. I'm going to call you out because you look beautiful, but I know how much work that took. But what about you? Teresa, you've been very successful within this business. What about you, girl?
I'm still struggling here. I mean, I've tried the 7 days. I've tried the 30 days. I mean, I've been doing this for 9 years, and it seems like last year and this year, everything I tried live power hours multiple times. But my problem was that they would get on the live power hour and we would do awesome. And then that was the only time they would do it. So then I got discouraged and I said, I'm not doing this anymore because, you know, and then I started doing, instead of doing training team calls, and I had you on it last year too, instead of doing training team calls, I did the, let's have like a chat hour. Like, let's figure out what we're doing. Let's talk about what we're doing. How can I help you? I stopped doing the whole, training because we had Janelle's calls, we had the National Wake Up Call, we had the Beachbody Champions. I'm like, there's nothing more that I can teach you, and I was bored. And when I get bored, then I do dumb stuff. So I was like, I can't do that. And so we started doing that, and it was going good. It was the same coaches, you know, they would show up, same with my team members. But last month, you know how hard it was for us. So I had to, like, my schedule was so crazy being in the hospital and stuff. So I stopped it. And so what I started doing was the message pods. And I went off of the walker, jogger, runner. So all my walkers, I put in 2 pods. So I had more walkers. That just fizzled out. Like, I'll post stuff. But I think that's my problem that I'm hearing, that I wrote down, is that I put a lot of it only on me. Like, just my responsibility to keep putting on. So I should get more leaders to interact, you know what I mean? So it's not always on me that has to post and interact. My runners pod is doing great. Like, I'm in there, like, you know, I'm just there to kind of like piggyback off anything. They are running it. So they're runners. I guess that's why they picked to be in the runners pod. And my joggers, you know, they're kind of hit or miss, but I do like the pods better because I can jump in when I can, you know, and they can too, and we can put content. The other thing that I've noticed, and it's building momentum right now, is using the My Connection Builder, not just to use it to connect with my follow-ups. I'm using that to remind myself to check out on my team. And I realized that was something that I was missing. Like the ones that were more vocal with me and they talk to me and they send me messages, that's who I knew better and I had a better relationship with them. But now that this is reminding me, hey, you haven't talked to this person, you have, so I feel like that's building a better relationship right now. And I think that was what I was lacking for the last couple of years, because it was just, if they were the people that were sending me messages, I wasn't taking the time. So I feel that's really helping me. But I'm still struggling to get them to figure out their own vision and figure out their own, their tribe or their voice. A lot of my newer coaches, and so that's where I'm struggling right now. I love to get more diamonds, but I'm struggling more getting the newer coaches and to just recruit myself. You know what I mean? That's where I'm struggling right now. I love Z's, that 30-day thing, the video that you sent. And so I've been looking at that, trying to like figure out how I can redo that, because I think that'd be really helpful for my newer coaches to get started, because I feel like that has just not been working. I haven't found a really good system for myself for that.
Teresa, thank you. Can I just say thank you? Because I feel like the real, the raw is obviously what we all need. Can I just have any of you, with what she was speaking to, have you had any insight within your business? What would help Teresa? Marion, I'm going to call you out because, girl, I haven't heard from you today.
I was actually going to type, I was going to say, my motto is, I can't work harder than you on your goals. So I kind of have a little come to Jesus, like tough love talk a lot with if they're runners and they are struggling, it's like, okay, let's dig down into what is your vision. But literally if I'm pouring, and I know, Brittany, you actually called me out on this early on, because when I was not a virgin coach, because I signed up to become a coach. So that's a new coach. I was putting like 80-90% of my effort and energy into my team, and maybe like 10% into my own business. And it drained me, it burned me out. And I think that we just can't, we have to walk with them, but I'm not going to walk ahead of them. Mm-hmm. And I think being honest about that and sharing that is important, because it gives them ownership. It gives them permission to struggle, because it's in that struggle that they're going to grow. But if they're comfortable and hanging out, that's why people hang out at Diamond, right? And then they fall out of Diamond because they're not working for it anymore. It's because they get comfortable. I'm babbling right now.
No, thank you. But I love that. Thank you. I just wanted to call you out because I haven't heard your voice today. But I love that, and I completely agree. Okay.
One thing that we are doing on my team page really quickly is we're having newer coaches that are hitting Success Club. Like, I invite them to go live on the page and just share like in 3-5 minutes what's working for them. And that's really helps them get confidence with like positioning them as a leader, even if they're brand new, but they're hitting Success Club, and it gives them more confidence. And then I'm definitely seeing an ROI in that activity with their volume and their confidence.
For sure. Okay, I love that. We have time for one more, and then I'm going to read one little thing to you. Story time. Don't go to sleep on me. Is there anybody else?
I just really quick had something to share that we haven't started it yet, so I'm not sure how it's going to go, but I got together with some leaders in my upline, and we decided to do a kind of intense dash to diamond. But we each only had 5 spots for our whole downline. And we did an application process. So I made a big deal. I went live in the team page, and I, did an application, and they had to like share their PV. They had to share their goals. They had to talk, what rank they're at now, what rank they want to be by summit, what rank they want to be at the end of the year. And it was a lot of questions, and it was pretty in depth. They had to share some vision. They had to share a picture of their vision board. Because I'm really big into that and mindset, and they all know that. So they had to apply, and they got like some of them got freaking nervous, and they kept messaging me and were like, oh my gosh, am I not going to get picked? Like, this is going to really kick me in the ass. Because it wasn't like a free-for-all, like, oh, because you're Emerald, you can work for Diamond now. It was like, there's only 5 spots. And there's going to be a cash pot, like each of us are putting in $20. So they're going to be like there's gonna be like $400 in there. And really good topics. We're each going one day, and then we'll make a PDF from it afterwards that they can have. But I'm really excited about it. And then today they've all been freaking out because they're going to find out at noon who the 5 are. And I actually only had 7 apply, and it was a kind of a no-brainer who the 5 are, but I'm not telling them that. And I'm really excited about it. And I think it'll be really good because I need some movement happening. So I'm kind of doing a lot of tough love lately, and hand-holding and tough love, but like a good combo. And then just, I'm excited for this group. So I'll share it, and I'll share the template, and I can share the stuff. But
that sounds amazing. That goes along the lines of the Brienne's like contract and all of that. But I love the fact of putting just only a few in there. I love it. Okay. That's cool. That's really, let us know how that goes.
I will.
But ladies, implement that one. That's a good one. Okay. Story time. And then we'll hang up. Cool. Okay. So obviously this is coming from the Power of Positive Leadership, which I literally have 2 days to finish 40 pages or 30 pages, which I can do. That's easy. But if you haven't ordered this one yet, please order this. This is like the best book for our business, hands down. But I'm in the page 140, Love and Accountability. And it says, I've worked with and studied leaders for years, and I believe that the positive leaders who are able to create amazing teams and results provide both a lot of love and a lot of accountability. Love and accountability, that is how great teams, organizations, relationships, and results are created. If I had to pick the most important section of this book, it'd be right here. You have to love your people, but you have to make sure you hold your team accountable to the plan, the process, the principles, and the values of the culture. It is also about a relentless implementation of the plan. It's about having a clear performance goals and making sure everyone knows the goals and knows the data, status, and progress towards those goals. It's making sure everyone knows the plan and what needs special attention. If you are having a problem, that's okay, but don't keep it a secret. Let's figure it out together and find a solution. If you're failing in some way, you won't be ostracized, but rather you will find the support you need to succeed. If you don't hold people accountable to it, your team won't live and breathe it. But when you love people and hold them accountable, it's amazing how fast things can move in the right direction. So stinking good, right? So good. So I would just say this, great topic. Thank you, Miss Brooke, for bringing that one to light. And I feel like obviously we are just going to build on this. We have one more call next week, and then we will group together for Jeff Hill's call. And of course, I'll tell you the times. I know we're getting a little confused. Just always think normal time unless I tell you different. But T, I love that you brought that up because I'm like, yeah, that's true. Yeah. Anyways, but I appreciate you all being on here. I would just say this, implement what's going to work from you. Don't let this call be something that's like, okay, cool, awesome, feed my soul. No. Go implement, enjoy, go implement that 7 days, see if it works for you. Like implement these little things. I'm not telling you to change your whole thing if it is working, but I am telling you if it's not, it's time to change it. Okay. So I appreciate all of your interaction. I appreciate you guys allowing me to call you out, but have an amazing day, amazing last 2 days of the month, and rock it out. Sound good? Thanks, ladies. Bye.